everyone, it's Anja here. I'm back with another video for Ophelia Talks, and today we are making this gorgeous drawstring bag. Now it looks very different to anything I've done before, and it is very sturdy. I'm trying to push it down and I can hardly do that. So dare I say it, it looks almost like it's been knitted. No, it is crochet and it is a special stitch. It's called the waistcoat stitch. Now in my mind I call it the checkmark stitch because it makes little V's, little check marks in your work. So waistcoat stitch, if you look that up, it's a known stitch, and it makes for a very sturdy fabric, very sort of solid fabric that you are making. Normally when we make these drawstring bags, I always say don't put small things in them, you know, like an earring or something, but in this one here there is absolutely nowhere for something small like that to go. So there are no holes in it whatsoever. And I have given a little bit of a detailed look here. These stitches and this technique is called the Fair Isle technique, where you have a little stitch and you have a pattern of stitches. I'm just taking it really easy here. I haven't even counted in between how many stitches there are, and it still looks fabulous. So there we go. I'm also finishing the drawstring bag with two drawstrings, of course, so you can close your bag, and then the little edging here as well. So even for the bottom I have used this special stitch, and I will explain to you in great detail in this video how to do that. But I'm also thinking I might do a proper techniques video where I'm going to dissect the whole stitch for you, so you understand better what you are going to be doing. Now for this video, I have used the Classic Cotton DK by Stylecraft. These are the colors that I have at the moment. So for this one I just chose these two. I've lost most of the sleeves. I don't know what happened, but for this tutorial I'm going to be using these two here. It is prescribed as a 4 because it's DK, but I am going to be using a 3.5 because I want to create a very closed up fabric. I was going to say close knit fabric, but of course we are still crocheting, so a close crocheted fabric. Okay, so let's get started. If you are new to my channel or you haven't yet subscribed, please find the red subscription button and click on it. It is free. You will then see a bell sign. Click on that too, so you are notified of every new video I upload. You can also find links to my social media right above that. We are going to get started with a magic circle. So I put the end of my cotton over my fingers like this. I then make a cross, take your hook, insert it underneath this strand here. Pick up this strand and pull it through. Go back to the back strand there and pull it through again. Now we are going to need 6 single crochets. So we are going to do them around our 2 strands of the magic circle. Now for the waistcoat stitch, it's a little bit different where you are counting and what you need. So you are going to be counting the bodies of the stitches. So I've got 5 and this is my 6th one. Now I am going to pull the end of our magic circle until it closes like so, and I'm going to do a slip stitch under that first V that I encounter. And you close your circle. Don't pull it too tight because you are going to have to get into the bodies of the stitches instead of under the V's. So let me just explain to you very briefly. Normally we would pick up these here, the V. This time we are not going to pick up the V. Okay, so where are we going to go in? Underneath where the two V's meet, that is where you will find the body of the stitch, and you are going to go in to there, coming out on the other side in between those two bits there. And that is where you are going to be doing your stitches. So second round we are going to do 2 waistcoat stitches in each stitch around. So we had 6, we are now going to create 12 of these little bodies. So this is your first location. This is my second location. Okay, the 2 V's meet underneath there, insert. See, that is the wrong place. Okay, so come out again and go in and come out. Can you see where I'm coming out? That's what needs to happen. Okay, so the stitch has to sort of open up at the back, and that's where you're going to come out of. Right, next location. If you find this hard, please go and have a look at my techniques video. It is going to be a video using the, see again the wrong, I have to say it gets easier, okay? It's going to be, I'm going to be using much bigger hook and a much bigger yarn, so it will be easier for you to see. So do go and have a look at that. But I have to say, once you've gotten past this bit here, it's okay. You'll start to recognize where you're supposed to be, okay? And looking at the V's, this part here where the V's meet, underneath there is where you have to be. You go in and carefully twist it, and like I'm doing here, just open the stitch up and there it is. There's the hook coming out, and that's what you need. Like I said, it does get easier. So 2 waistcoat stitches in each stitch around. Now you need 6 locations, and sometimes it is very difficult in that first row because of the slip stitch and everything to work out where your 6 locations are. So let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I need just 1 more location, and that's going to be this one here. Okay, so you will need 12 stitches. And then once you've done your 12, you are going to have a look and find the first V and do a slip stitch. So it's not about counting the V's on top of your work, it's about counting the bodies of the stitches into the previous round of stitches. So I didn't close up my magic circle all that much because it makes it a little bit easier if you still have it open a little bit. So now I've pulled it tighter to make it smaller. There we go. So that's the first round done. So well, round 1 was 6 stitches, round 2 is 12. Chain 1. Now we are going to do in every stitch, in every body of the stitch, again we are going to do an increase round. So into the first stitch, and yeah, in the beginning it can be quite hard to get in here. Is that the right place? If you're not sure, come back out and try again. Okay, so that's my position here. I'm going to go in, and yes, I've come out the right place. So this increase round we do 1, and in the next stitch we do 2. Okay, so you do, in this project, you do this waistcoat stitch throughout, except for the first round here where we do back loops only. So that's the only exception, right? But all the other rounds are into that location there that I have been showing you. And that is what is called the waistcoat stitch. It's... is that the right place? I think so. Okay, 1, and then in the next one we do 2. And there we go. So continue like this. 1, 2. And I will see you at the end of the round. So I have made it to the end of the round, so 1 here and 2 in the last stitch. There's no skipping stitches like we usually do, because we are counting the bodies of the stitches. Now into the first stitch, so this is our chain, this is the V on top of the first stitch, and there we do our slip stitch in that one. Okay, so first round 6, second round we had 12 stitches. This round we have 18 stitches. Next round, chain up. This time we are doing 1, 1, 2 waistcoat stitches. So you go into the body of the stitch and you do your increase as we are used to. There we go. So 1, 1, 2. I will see you at the end of the round. Once again, I've made it to the end of the round. I placed 2 waistcoat stitches in that last stitch, skipping the little chain here, going under the V of that first stitch and doing my slip stitch. I now have 24 stitches. As you can see, we've got this lovely little sort of check mark pattern going outwards, and we are going to do another round. This time we are going to do 1 waistcoat stitch in the first stitch, 1 waistcoat stitch in the second stitch, 1 waistcoat stitch in the third stitch, and 2 waistcoat stitches in the next stitch. There we go. So you've got 1, 1, 1 and 2. I will see you at the end of the round. I've made it to the end of the round. I had to put 2 in the last stitch there, skip that chain under the first V and do my slip stitch there. So this round we now have 30 bodies of stitches. Let's continue into the next round, and there we are going to do 1 waistcoat stitch, 1 waistcoat stitch, 1 waistcoat stitch and another one. So we do 4 this time, 4 individual waistcoat stitches, and then in the next one, no, not that location, but into there, you are going to do 2. Right? So this time we're doing 4 individual ones and then the 2. I'll see you at the end of the round. Once again, I've made it to the end of the round, skipping my chain, going under the V and closing up my round. So this is our bottom. Now obviously if you want to make this bag bigger you can, and you just keep on increasing. The rate of increase changes each time, so each time you add an individual stitch in between. I have got a video on how to do that. This is quite a sturdy piece of work, so you could easily make this a little bit bigger and it would still be sturdy enough for you to use as a bowl or whatever you want to use it for. So you now have 36 stitches, and now we are going to start working on the sides. So this is going to be our outside, so turn that down and make sure the inside is sort of facing away from you like this, and we are going to chain 1. Now, to make our turn, because we have to go in a different direction, we are going to have to use the back loops only. So you are going to do 36 back loop only single crochets. That is a normal single crochet, so we are just picking up the back loop, as you can see, as you would normally. So for this round we are not going into the body of the stitch as we have been, but we are just going to do a normal back loop only single crochet. I will see you at the end of the round. I have come to the end of my round. I'm not going to do a single crochet in the back loop in this stitch here because I've already done that chain in there. I'm just going to skip the chain and do a slip stitch under the next V. There we go. Okay. And as you can see, it's already changed direction and standing up. So we are now going to start again with our waistcoat stitches. So I've chained 1. Under the first place where the 2 V's meet, that is where the body of my stitch is, and that is where I am going to go in and where I'm going to come out in between those 2 legs there. There we go. And I am going to do my single crochet. So once again we are starting those waistcoat stitches, which will provide a nice fabric, and which this time of course will, you know, be the side of our bag and will make it look a little bit different from normal crochet. I think the trick here is not to make your stitches too tight, so you can actually get in between them and they will actually open up for you. So from now on we are going to place 1 waistcoat stitch in each stitch around. So I've made it to the end of my first round of waistcoat stitches, but yeah, so as you can see here, it stands up really straight, and that's what I want to get the effect of. And I'm always worried that it might not. I'm worried that it might go out because of course we had to increase so many times for our bottom. I think it has too many stitches in going round now. So what I tend to do is I take out 2 of the stitches and I do them together. So I go in where you're supposed to go in for the waistcoat stitch, don't finish it, go into the next location and pull it up and then finish it. So you've done 2 stitches in 1. So basically you've lost 1 stitch, and look, that has brought it in quite considerably, and I'm much happier with that. Now I'm going to do that again in the next round, so I'm losing 2 stitches overall, but that will ensure that you have a nice straight side like this and it doesn't sort of bulge out. You can see that I have done that, I think, if you know what you're looking for. Okay, somewhere here I did those 2, I lost those 2 stitches. It's not that obvious, so like I said, I'm going to do that again, and this time I'm going to do it here. So chain up into the first location, pull up, into the next location, pull up, carefully. Yeah, this happens sometimes, so you just have to go back in. There we go, that's better. Yeah, and you do your stitch. There we go. So next time you're just picking up in between those two togethers, okay? And that's all you need to do to ensure that the rest of your work is going to be as straight as it can be. Okay, so we've lost those 2 stitches. It's going to be much straighter now. It's not going to bulge out, and that's the effect that I wanted. So I will see you at the end of this round. I have now come to the end of my round. This is where we did those 2 together earlier. I am just going to go in between those 2 there, and I do a stitch there. Then we skip the chain, go under the V of that 2 together that we did in the next round. There we go, and that's that finished. Now once again we get started, and once again I go in between those 2 stitches, and that's it. You don't have to do that anymore. Those are, you know, we just lost those because that ensures that we have nice sides. Now we are just going to keep doing our waistcoat stitch in every stitch around until we have done, let me just do this stitch here and show you, until we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of the waistcoat stitch. Then we can start with bringing in the other color. Okay, so here we are now at 1, 2, 3, because of course the first one was our single crochet round. Okay, so I will see you now when you have done your 5 rounds of waistcoat stitch. I have done my 5 rounds of waistcoat stitch. Now I am going to start bringing in the second color. So we have 34 bodies of stitches. It doesn't matter that we can't divide them properly to put these accent stitches in. I'm just going to go for it, okay? I'm not too worried about it because life is too short to worry about these things. Right, so I've done a chain and I've done my first waistcoat stitch. Then I am going to do another 3. So we're going for 4 waistcoat stitches in a row, right? So that's the start. Then we are going to go in to the location where we normally go. We bring in the next color. You hold it as if you are already crocheting with it. You pick it up and you bring it out. Then you go back to your main color and finish the stitch. Okay, this all is a little bit loose, so we're going to just pull it, and look at that, we have made a stitch in a different color. So then we continue with our main color, but we are going to make sure that the accent color is lying behind here, and that every time we pick up the main color, the accent color is incorporated at the back into the stitch. Let me just do a few more stitches here so I can show you what I mean. Okay, so look, it's into the stitch, so it's not hanging loose, it's not hanging free, you can't see it inside, right? This one here you'll just have to sew in, just like you will have to sew in this end as well. Okay, so we've done 4 waistcoat stitches, 1 accent. Now we do another 4. And then we're ready for our accent color again. So you insert. This time you don't pick up the main color, but you pick up the accent color, and then straight away you pick up the main colour to finish the stitch, and once again you just pull it slightly so it becomes a nice tight stitch, and off we go again. Another 4 and then an accent colour, another 4 and then an accent colour, and at the end here you won't have enough stitches left to do 4, but you'll do 3, and then here this one you'll just do an accent colour to finish the round, and I will see you when you are here just before that last stitch. So I've continued on with doing 4 and 1. Now I've done 3, I've just got the 1 stitch left. So I'm going to make that an accent colour, like so. There we go. And then we finish the round as we usually do. So we skip that, go under the V and close the round. There we go. Okay, and as you can see, I have always taken along the colour into my stitches, so there's no free hanging yarn on the inside of my inside of my bag. Now we are going to do another round of waistcoat stitches, but no accent colour. So we are just going to leave this dangling as it is. Okay, there's no need to take it along or anything, just leave it there and we will use it again in the next round. So I will see you when you have finished your round of waistcoat stitches. I have now come to the end of my round without accent colours. So I am now going to incorporate some accent colours again. So before we actually chain, I am going to get my dangling yarn here and place it in between where I'm working there, so that it's sort of incorporated when I chain up, and then it already is in place for me to go over it and make it disappear during the other stitches. So I am now going to do 2 waistcoat stitches in the main colour. We are going to offset them, so where we did them before we're not going to do them now, so I'm just going to do 1 here. I know there's 2 there, there's 1 there. To be honest, I don't mind. I don't really worry about that. We are just putting in the waistcoat stitches, the accent ones, in a different place from before. So we just keep going, and now I'm going to do the 4 again and then put the accent colour in. So as long as they're not in the same place, that's fine. I'm not going to be the one counting them when this project is finished or anything. You know, just as long as it looks nice, that's fine. So here we are, we're ready for an accent colour again. And there we go. Pull it tight and off we go again. And so we continue our round like this until you meet the end, and once again there, I don't know how many stitches I'm going to have left. I'm just going to make sure it looks nice. So I'll see you at the end of the round here. So I'm at the end of my round. Here I did the 3 like I did here, then the accent colour, and then I'll have the 4 there. I mean, it's just a way of doing it. You can do it in a different way, but, you know, it looks okay. It doesn't, you know, it's not going to stand out. So there we are. So those are my accent colours. Now, once again, I am doing a round of main colour, no accent colour, so I'm just leaving my accent colour dangling. As you have noticed, I have also sewn in the end here and sewn in the end of the accent colour, because if it gets too high your bag, then it's more difficult to do that. I turned it inside out to do that, and it's easier if it's still short. So I will see you at the end of this round. I've come to the end of the round without any accent colours in there, and now we are going to do another round of accent colours, and we are going to be repeating. So put your accent colour in between your chain so it's ready for you to hide it. So we're going to be repeating that first round of accent colours. So start with 4 and then 1, 4 and then 1. Okay, so I will see you at the end of the round. So I've made it to the end of the round. I have repeated this round here, so above each V there's another one in the last round. So this time what we are going to do, we are going to increase the use of our accent colour. Chain 1 and put your accent colour in between the chain. And what we are going to do is essentially this, so let me get ready. So here you've got your accent colour. So in the round that we're doing now, we're going to put an accent colour before, on top and after your accent colour. So let me show you. There we go. So 1. 2, and that's split a little bit. Oh, yeah, okay. And then 3. And then we are the stitch before, so we are going to use the accent colour, but make sure you take along your main colour. So just keep working for 3 stitches with your accent colour. Well, yes, 3 stitches, and then the third one you swap back. So now you swap back to the main one. Okay, there we go. So now we have a little V here. We've got 3 stitches on top of that one there. So now we continue, once again holding our accent colour at the back with our main colour. And we do the amount of stitches required until we get there, 1 in front, and we're going to use the accent colour again. So put your main colour ready to take along and the accent colour you hold to use. And you do the 3 stitches, and at the end you use your main colour to finish off that last stitch. And that's how you will continue all the way. I will see you at the end of the round. I have now made it to the end of my round. Here I just did the one in front of this stitch because obviously here I had to do my slip stitch. I am just going to undo this, and I am going to do my slip stitch in my accent colour, which is now going to become my main colour, and I'm going to cut off my main colour. So cut this one off, take that one out of the equation. You're going to have to sew this one in or take it along if you can manage that. And here you are just going to continue with the main colour. So let's do the slip stitch in, well, yeah, what is now the main colour, okay? And then we chain up and we continue as we were before with our waistcoat stitch. And yeah, let's take along the end of that main colour, oh, previous main colour. Oh dear. And let's continue like that. So now let me just have a look. We are going to do a number of rounds in this other main colour. And so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds. So I will see you at the end of your 4 rounds. So I have done my 4 rows in total. I have done 15 rows of waistcoat stitches, and then there's that first row, so that's the 16th row. So now we are ready to make the holes for our drawstring to go in, and this is what we do. Chain 3, then we are going to skip 1 stitch and we go into the next one. We yarn over and we go into the, like we used to do with the waistcoat stitch, but this time we are doing double crochets, right? So chain 1, skip a stitch into the next one, yarn over and double crochet. So we are still entering the same, in the same location, but we're not doing single crochets. This time we're doing double crochets. This will give us the little holes that we can use to thread our drawstring in. Now I have to say I have already made the drawstring. There are various videos in my channel on how to make this drawstring, so do go and have a look. I have linked one below. And I am doing my drawstring in green because I just fancied that. I think purple and green are a lovely combination, so I thought I would do that. But of course, it would also be nice to have made your drawstring in the lavender color, so that would have been nice, just like I did here, so the other color comes back again. Right, so I will see you at the end of the round. Right, so I have made it to the end of the round. Here I'm going to skip 2 chains, sorry, and then I go in and I do a little slip stitch there. Chain 1. Into that same double crochet, I'm just going to go in as if I was doing a waistcoat stitch. Then we do a single crochet around the chain space, and then once again sort of find an opening in that double crochet where you do your single crochet and then around the chain space. So really we're making up the stitches again, and I'm just going into that double crochet where I can really, and then 1 single crochet around the chain space. There we go. Okay, so that's how we're going to go around, and I'll meet you at the end here. Okay, so I've done my round of single crochets here around and into the double crochets, and now we are going to do a round of, yes, waistcoat double crochet, single crochets again. So let's find that entry point again that we are used to, and this time we're doing 1, and in the next stitch right there we are going to do 2. So we are increasing our stitch count by half. So that's how you'll continue doing 1, 2, 1, 2. I will see you at the end of the round. I'm getting impatient now. I want it to be finished. I'll see you later. Right, so I have done that row of 2, 1, 2, 1. Now we are going to do the slip stitch, and at the moment I am sitting far away from my crochet. I can just about reach it, but I've got the cat on my lap as well. So 1 chain, and now we're going to place 1 waistcoat stitch in each stitch around. So that's quite a few stitches, because of course in the previous round we have increased them. So when you have 2 like this, make sure you do those 2, and that seems to have been in the wrong position. But of course, like I said, I am far away. I'm removed far away because of my cat. So let's just bring this, try again. Nope. Let me just do this a bit closer up. This is ridiculous. Okay. Yes, that's it. I'm in now. I could see it. There we go. Oh my word. I'm trying to look in the viewfinder. That doesn't work. Okay, so best leave it at that. Right. 1 stitch in each stitch around. And that's your last row. So then we are going to start putting the drawstring in. Right, so I have finished my last round. The cat is gone. Well, actually, she's not. She's still over there on my desk. But never mind. It's better than on my lap because I can still work like this and I can see what I'm doing. Right, so these ends need to be put in. I already put the other ends in, so that's good. Now, for the drawstring, I made 2 drawstrings which are about 30 centimeters in length, and you sort of leave the ends on because those are the ones that you're going to use to tie them together or to sew them together better. So you've got, do you know what, I don't even count the holes, I make it work. So, you know, like I said, it needs to be enjoyable. It will work out, I'm sure it will. So I threaded in and out, and then I thread in the other one as well, and I do them out and in, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So I do that the opposite way, and I make sure that one is above and then the other one is below, so there's space for the next one to go above. See, so that makes it sense. The first few times it'll be difficult to sort of close it and open it, but it gets a little bit, you know, sort of softer and a little bit worn, and then it goes much easier. So there we go. So my drawstring comes out of the same hole here. And then you have to make sure that sort of about opposite, you start again. There we go. And we are doing the opposite here. There we go. And yeah, well, it worked out. I'm doing it on the bottom. So there we go. So don't, you know, sort of don't swap them round, because it'll be easier for them to run next to each other like so. Am I doing this right? No, I skipped one. Talking, too much talking. There we go, see? And this way, well, I think, what do you think of the green? Is the green okay? Maybe I should have gone with the violet or the lavender, whatever colour it is. Oh well, never mind. It will be fine. Okay, so here, if I keep going in, out, it's going to end up the same way. So I'm going to just skip these two and go this way and that way, and then we're back to doing what we should be doing. See? You can make it work. That should be a song. You can make it work. Anyway, there we go. And then here, there, it doesn't come out of the same hole, but do you know what? I think that's fine. I don't mind. Right? So this works, as we can see. Look. Like I said, a little bit difficult in the beginning. There we go. And now I'm going to get a needle and I'm going to thread on the end, and then I get the other side of the drawstring and I gently sort of sew it together almost. I go back to the same side and then I go back into this side like so. So you're sort of going up and down a little bit. There we go. And you do that for all 4 ends so that the drawstring is attached really well. And then what I tend to do is I put this sort of, that it's inside here somewhere so that it doesn't come out. So this stays sort of here, and then you've got another piece that hasn't been put together that you're pulling on. So yeah, so this is my new version of my drawstring bag. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching, and do please have a go at this. It's such fun, and I think the effect is brilliant, and let me know if you've made it. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!